budget, and the funds are going to be used for training for Ebola, and also to send our EP coordinator to additional training so that we meet the needs of that funding requirement.
Okay, are there any questions? This was previously workshopped. It's $11,638.
I have a question. When the money is unspent, like the money was unspent in 2015, when you roll it over, you roll over all of it in its entirety, right?
Yes.
For an extension is when you, or extension or something else is when you could lose a portion of it. If you don't spend it out in that
Normally
year.
with a grant, what you do is you work with the grant office and you get approval to roll over those funds that are unspent dollars. So it depends on from the other side. This is a grant where it actually is new funding, the Ebola money. And so they pushed it out very late because Ebola was late in the fiscal year. We had already gotten our funding through the grant, and so this was just added. And then they had actually gave us more money than what we had anticipated in receiving for the original grant, and so that's being added here from what we had actually budgeted.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Wait, you want to tell us about accreditation?
Yes. So two things on accreditation. As you all know, we passed our CARF accreditation for our behavioral health. We received a re-accreditation for 3 full years. So we are accredited until 2019 now for our behavioral health staff. And then our AAAHC accreditation, we just got the dates for that survey, and so that survey is going to be April 18th through the 20th, and you are invited to come to the opening. When the surveyors come, we always do an opening for them and give them an update, and so we'd really like several board members, if you can attend, to please try to get there. We're assuming it's going to be around 8:30 on the 18th, which is a Monday morning, but we're not positive yet on the actual schedule. The surveyors and us, we have to work out the actual agenda. They're looking at, they might actually come out to the West End. They might go as far as Marquette to see our little place in Marquette. So we're not positive how that's going to work out with the distance and travel for them for the 3 days. But that's what's going on for health on that. So thank you.
Come on, this way, let us know if you do come over.
Yes, yeah, so thank you.
Okay, next up is, we voted already, right? Yeah. Healthy Start Grant, establish FY 2017.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2017 budget for the Healthy Start Grant and other revenue intertribal council monies of $85,000, no effect on tribal support. Motion, second.
Motion and support.
You doing both?
I don't have to. We just got out of sorts a little bit, but you're up right now because the motion's on the floor and you read the right one. I don't have it in my packet. I don't know why. All right, go ahead.
So I'm standing in for Tony Abramson, and this is a Healthy Start grant for the next program year, and it's the budget for that. April 1st through March 31st, 2017. The grant supports an LPN, 3 part-time staff, 1 LPN for this site that will do home visits for prenatal up to 2 years, families with children anywhere from prenatal up to 2 years old, and to do health education and parenting education sessions with those families.
Okay, this was previously workshopped as well?
I think it was by Tony.
Yeah. Was there any questions then?
Yep. No questions.
Did we get them answered?
Yep. Same problem.
So this is from other revenue, $85,000. What's the other revenue again? I'm sorry. Kellogg or?
It is through the Intertribal Council of Michigan.
ITC.
Okay. Okay, so this one, it doesn't require a roll call because it's outside funding. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now is law enforcement cops TRGP 2015 establishment of an FY 2016 budget.
Be it resolved, the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2016 budget for the COPS TRGP 2015 with Federal Department of Justice revenue monies of $47,330, no effect on tribal support.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and support without objection. I'll just describe it. It's pretty straightforward. Does it match 47,000?
I just wonder if 2015 Federal Department of Justice.
Third line.
Yeah, it says FY 16 budget for the grant 2015. I just wonder if those numbers match. Or they're supposed to. They're okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably
Yep.
just a spindle from last year.
Must be a roll.
It was a grant in 2015.
15 that's rolling over?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, any questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. Next is Manistee Health Clinic.
Be it resolved, the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2016 budget modification to the Manistee Health Clinic for changes to personnel sheet and reallocation of expenses. No effect on tribal support.
Motion.
Second. Either one.
Okay, we have a motion to support. And Denise and Darcy. Thank you.
This budget modification is requesting that we advance 2 Pharmacy Tech 1 positions here in Manistee to Pharmacy Tech 2 positions. They've, both tribal members have received their certifications and state licenses to do that. And so we would like to be able to do that for these 2 pharmacy technicians. And also this budget modification for us is very exciting because we are hoping to recruit a local tribal member to fill a part-time pharmacist position here and a part-time pharmacist position in the Sioux. This is a tribal member who I'd like to introduce to the board, Daniel Reed. She has gone to school on an Indian Health Service scholarship. She'll be the first tribal member ever with this tribe to get a doctorate in pharmacy. And she's our little shining star. And we're hoping to bring her on board part-time here in Manistee and part-time in the Sioux to help cover pharmacy. She will be on an Indian Health Service scholarship payback with our tribe here. So
And we want you to stay once you're done with that.
She's not going anywhere.
and this is her mom with her, I don't know your first name, Mom. Oh, Mary. So that's what this particular budget modification is requesting.
Oh, this is your grandchild?
Not mine. This is, no, that's not mine.
Jensen's
Oh,
Oh, Bob Jensen.
Dan Hillen's.
Okay, all right.
also tribal too.
Oh, cool.
so can I answer any questions?
Darcy.
Just on the pharmacy techs now, these are going back to the initial start date of October the 1st.
Yes.
Was it? Thank you.
What was her question? Oh, going back.
Right, to the date that they had to be certified.
And can I ask a question? And when these techs started, we told them once they get these licenses, you would get
They've
this
been working
increase,
for
right?
years.
Well, within that department, there is that step increase in those positions.
Okay.
Those were put on hold in 13 and you put them back in place last year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
any final questions or comments? Yep, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
This is who?
Roll call, I'm sorry.
Darcy.
Yes.
DJ.
Yes.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Denise.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Lana.
Yes.
Danny.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Catherine.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Chair,
Yes.
that's also, I don't want to take any thunder away from her, but there is another tribal member from Manistee that got their doctorate and Jerome Peterson's granddaughter. She got her doctorate in physical therapy. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's another one.
we know that's two Peterson
Oh.
lines, so everybody else has got to catch up. Congratulations.
Get everything in
Yeah.
Good deal.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next is inland fish and wildlife. Tribal Cooperative Landscape Conservation Establishment FY 2016 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2016 budget for the Tribal Cooperative Landscape Conservation with BIA revenue monies of $56,594.61. No effect on tribal support.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. Without objection, I'll briefly describe. This one was previously workshopped. It doesn't require tribal support. And it is what it is.
Any questions?
I don't want to belabor it if you already reviewed it, so it's for vulnerability assessment. So.
These ones are easy.
Okay, without objection, no, yeah, no.
You can do it that way.
It isn't. No, it isn't. It's all outside. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? What number is it?
75.
Okay. Next up is budget document 001, continuing funding authority.
Nope. Don't you want to do the budget document 001? Not continuing funding.
Which one did
Do
you
you want to
read?
do, don't you want to do the
Oh, you
grammar?
read,
I don't know if I
you
have the
read
answer.
that one.
Wait a minute, I think, isn't this one in this, no, it's not, I'm sorry, you're right.
You want the
Budget document 001.
Thank you. Be it resolved, the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2017 budget document 001, totaling $5,266,160, of which $4,211 comes from tribal support. Motion to approve.
Okay, motion and support. Bill.
These are all the June 30th and prior programs coming forth for the 2017 budget year. They include a number of programs. JKL and the Building Fund are the two largest. There is one EPA water quality that requires a tribal match of $4,211, and that's 5%. And this was a workshop last week, and the underlying support documentation is attached.
Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, this will be a roll call.
Lana?
No.
DJ?
No.
Kathy?
Yeah.
Darcy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Catherine?
No.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes?
Danny?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That makes the next one.
Okay.
Point of information, did we workshop this? I don't recall. Last Tuesday.
This was workshop last Tuesday, Bill? Yeah.
Now, do you want to do the fisheries?
Who's that committee one?
All right, and we didn't get an answer. Well, the answer that we got, we can't get through to Tom somehow, but we did check with Clarence and Susan and Jason. Nobody thinks it's a stipulation on, from the MEDC for the purposes of Grand Marais.
So I'll make a motion to remove from the table and bring back for a vote the fisheries MEDC Grand Marais budget.
Second.
Okay, without objection, we'll bring it from the table.
Perfect.
Okay.
They got your hands up. Bring it back.
Yeah, it was tabled to the end of the meeting. So actually, technically, we're at the end of the meeting, so.
Well, we're at the end of-
But we did it without objection, so either way. All right, so again, this might be something, no.
You've got
So
points.
I tried to find out from Tom, from Clarence, from Jason, from Susan, and nobody thinks it's a stipulation. And when I think about how we were bundling the funding, with BIA Transportation that it's not a stipulation in either Grand Marais or Epufet. We did, when we applied, that we would allow for, in Epufet, we would allow for tribal fishers in an intertribal sense to have access, but mooring is something we can control when we develop the plan for the use of the actual dock. It's really similar to what Cora has with our McKay Bay dock and the Whitefish Point. So, I don't believe it's a stipulation. We don't have it definitive because Tom never replied back. I was thinking about emailing Tom Durkee, the grant person, but I don't think that makes sense.
No, that's fine, but I guess in the future, if we could ask that question so that we do know moving forward. And it's such a small dock there anyways.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I'm sure the tribal fishermen ain't gonna let anybody take their spots.
Yeah. Well,
They can.
the BIA roads will cover the parking lot, which will have a gate.
Right, okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Did you get something?
I was just going to note that as I'm looking at the RIS sheet, there was an original award of $30,000 from NEDC.
So you already got
This
it.
amends it to add 58.
Oh,
So
So you
my
already got
assumption
it.
would be there would be no new conditions that were, even assuming there was something that would have been in the original 30. I'm not aware of any. But since we're only adding to an already existing, idea might be factor information.
Okay, then I will ask for a roll. No, we don't need a roll call. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
I need a motion.
Oh, wait. No, we had an original motion on
We
the.
brought it back to the table, it's the
Yeah.
original motion.
Okay.
It was 69.
69, okay.
Squirrels, right?
Okay, so Denny and Keith.
Correct.
I think it's the tribal council on that door somewhere.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. Now we go to committee requests.
Housing, appoint Bridget Sorensen to fill Unit 3 vacancy, 4-year term expiring March 2020. Second.
Motion and support. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Oh, you have a question? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
based on what we did earlier in the committee appointments, did all of these committees get posted for 2 months?
Yes.
Well,
This-
here's the thing, I look at the application and it shows one for February is when the application received and the approval's in March for the housing authority, so that's why I asked, it's been posted for 2 months exact precisely, like the other one had to be posted for 2 months.
Shirley, I believe, resigned in November,
Are we sure?
and so that's when we posted
But
it.
can we get clarification when it was posted? That's what I'm asking.
We did post it. Bridget put in her paperwork before, and I told her we had to hold it. And then actually we put it on the agenda last meeting, and then remember we had to pull it because it had to go to housing, and housing had to approve it. And so then it had to come to this meeting.
Isn't that interesting though? That's kind of what we talked about earlier. So under their procedure, they
Under
approved it?
under housing's
So
procedure.
then not all committees are the same?
No.
No, there's the only one that is like that.
Well, that's why I asked, because I want to make the point that they're not all the same.
So housing is the only outstanding one. Yep. So we had to pull it from the last meeting.
Housing.
And this is a unit appointment. Housing does theirs by units. So it had to be from a unit 3.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. Child welfare.
Appoint Robin Hill, 4-year term expiring March 2020.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and support. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Next.
Elders, Unit 5, Munising. Appoint Jane Carrickson as a regular member, 4-year term expiring on March 2020.
motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries.
Elections, reappoint Robin Cook, 4-year term expiring March 2020. Motion?
Second.
Motion and support. Any questions or comments? Oh, Keith.
No, mine was a second, so it's not a question. I was just giving
that
Keith the
one?
unit one.
Okay.
Who here made the motion?
I did.
Okay.
If DJ wants it, yeah.
No, I was just teasing. He knows
Keith
what I
and
was
Jen
teasing.
and DJ.
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 Because he didn't want it. You know, I mean, the
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Wait, questions or comments?
Well, he was appointed one time before, never attended.
Right.
How does this committee work? Does it go through the committee and then here, or right straight to the board? Do they have any thought on that?
It doesn't go to the committee, it just, I mean,
So
It follows the unstandard procedure,
pardon me?
the non-standard procedure, I guess. I don't know either.
Get people.
Well, it's a legitimate question.
No, it is, that's what I said, I don't know, they go all over
Absolutely,
the
because
place.
if he was put on the committee one time, he never attended a meeting, and what if he never attends a meeting again? Especially right now.
Yeah, we just had like 6 people quit, didn't
I have an issue with that.
we? How many people are on the committee now?
Yeah, I just
Question.
got it.
Just a question, how many are on it now? Total,
You're jumping right.
sorry, point of inquiry.
Go again.
I just asked you.
He asked a question.
8.
That's how many are currently on?
And how many openings are there?
I believe 5.
Oh, 'cause
5.
Like 6
And is there
quit.
anybody else in line besides him
No.
that
6
applied?
quit.
So you're, that was close. Okay.
Plan.
That's all I got.
Well. Oh, never mind.
So for the benefit of the audience, the rest of it says he was laid off from his job and no one could get a hold of him. He came in last week, gave a new email address and cell number. He would like to be reappointed to the committee. Kathy?
He was on layoff.
Oh, I was just thinking that maybe sometime in the future, there should be a workshop on bylaws of the committees so that we can go over them, so we can be fair and precise and specific. Might not be here by then, but I still think,
You can come in.
nah, I think I'll be.
I have another comment.
Okay.
Another comment. Before,
That was yours.
the chair of the committee, but now, it's standard, none of the committee even know, they don't even know this is probably here.
I called the chairman of the committee
Okay,
and asked him about it.
what'd he say?
He said to put it on the agenda for you to vote on it.
Okay, because I remember other times, like for the Child Welfare Committee, RussMckerchie would come here and she would present, make a comment or anything. I just don't want, or somebody else would come from, the chairman of the committee would come and we're not consistent on anything we do. We're not consistent on nothing we do. It's just frustrating.
Our chairman is not feeling well right now.
And I'm not talking about the chairman at all. I'm not, this isn't on
Yeah,
the
because we
chairman of the
just did a
committee at
number of
all.
appointments without having
Right,
the chair.
right.
so-
Yep. My point is that we're not consistent on stuff. And that just talks about what Kathy just talked about too. And and this is not on Jay whatsoever. I know Jay. So. My concern is sticking someone on there that they don't know nothing about, but if he said go for it, well, by all means, let's go for it.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none. We had a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. Great Lakes.
Great Lakes Conservation Committee, Dean Heislop for rough small mesh permit for 2016 fishing season.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. This was approved by the committee.
Yes, it was approved last night.
Yeah. DJ.
Don't we usually get something from legal when we do this?
We did.
It's usually right. Sometimes one of those, oh, we're following the sometimes
No, the
policy
committee
again.
gets it.
No, but usually they tell us it's in accordance with the proper,
No, the committee received something from Bob Marchand saying that there's been no violations or anything like that. So there's been no violations. The committee did receive that memo from law enforcement last night at their meeting saying that there's been no violations.
They said that?
I thought this was to appoint him to the committee.
Motion to
Give him the permit, give him the permit. All right, are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. We got all the committees?
Yes,
that's
Mr. Chairman.
I have a board concern.
Before we adjourn, I need to talk to the whole board member one minute. Yep, just 1 minute for something we just did. I need to ask you a question.
Okay, do we want to do the board issues first and then we'll go to that?
Do
Okay,
we want to adjourn?
because we do.
You don't want to adjourn?
Do we need to, I don't want to adjourn. There's a reason for it.
We do have DJ's got to close one anyway, so.
Which one's that? I thought I did them.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Very good,
didn't I?
yeah.
Okay, let's see, we
tiptoed.
have still, Lena.
My first one is the update on the disabilities committee.
Look at my face, I care.
Go ahead.
Do you? The first one's for Bonnie, an update on our disabilities committee. I know that was at the ad hoc committee level for a very long time. I haven't attended those meetings, and I don't anymore, so.
What was determined was the ad hoc committee agreed to have this go to the geriatric key meeting, and so that got incorporated in disabilities, probably with disabilities, are brought up on that case management team or geriatric team. And so any tribal member that's got an issue, they bring it forward to the CHN, because on that committee is the RN from Albuquerque Services and the CHNs from all of the service area. And they discuss patients with great needs, and that's what they try to figure out what to do and help them with the services that are available and what's in the communities that they live, and try to look them up for those services. I think that's been in place since about October.
So what you're saying is a tribal member with a disability is referred to.
It's medical.
CHN, any CHN that's in their area.
How would we know that? How would?
If we sent that out, gosh, I think it was back in October, we had a thing in the paper, and so, yeah.
So we're not going to create our own.
It's not going to be a separate committee because you have a standing committee that meets monthly, and it was really cost effective to do it this way. It's the same people that would be working on cases of tribal members with greatest needs. I think that's what you would call it.
And who made that determination that would be?
That ad hoc group.
Okay.
We brought it to ad hoc could agree.
Okay.
So let me just say, obviously, obviously this doesn't address non-medical issues. It's a medical process. I think Lana's scope might be bigger than that based on what I've heard in the past. This is one component of it. And so, you know, we have a bigger question, and I think that does lead to your question. So let's go ahead with that, and then let's just take a second to talk about how we can get form to function to get a commitment to have something brought back for us to approve. Okay, Jennifer.
Yeah, I have concerns too about ADA accessibility improvements throughout the tribal buildings and those types of things. I know I sent a message to Jessica and Christine asking for what type of assessment is being done. And that goes along with all of this, that we have needs of tribal members who may not be needing medical considerations, but certainly need accessibility to different aspects that we have throughout the tribe. They can't get into Big Bear.
Bill,
We don't even have a simple button on there for her to get in. And, you know, I know that that's something that's being looked at, and we're being asked for updates.
So hold on before you answer. Bill is overseeing the collection of information on the governmental side. It doesn't at all address the casino side, but we are looking at that and pulling together the total cost so the board can see what that looks like as part of it.
Any idea of a timeline for that? About
I think
when?
they're almost done.
Yeah, the report is almost ready.
Okay, good. That's very helpful.
And I would say, so go ahead, Len, and then.
Yeah, and I just thought that, the chairman's right. Mine incorporated a lot more. I don't think it should be just stuck into another committee. It is something that I'm passionate about. I've been for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been asking about it. That's why I got so frustrated at that ad hoc level, because nothing was, there's only certain things that move in that committee. And my concerns are the things that I lobbied for and have members lobby to me for. ACFS, I got stopped in the hallway 3 times yesterday from 3 different tribal members that live in the Sioux area that are not elders, they're not 60 yet, but they have disabilities. And they can't get into the admin building. ACFS, if they're under 60 years old, there's nothing for them. So I'm hoping that it is a big, huge committee and a big, huge force that we create, not just to stick them in something else. It's a major issue, Bonnie. It really, really is.
So you're talking more of the Americans with Disability Access to the facilities?
And services.
Well, let me add to it, because I have
Including
my.
closed captioning and things of that nature. We just aren't accommodating people who have special needs.
And I got my little niche. My little niche that I'm passionate about is special education, advocacy for parents who don't have the skills already to know what the law is, their rights are, and advocate through the school systems. School systems are too quick to basically browbeat the parents out of their needs, and there's all kinds. It could be special, it could be cognitive, it could be physical, and the schools are not doing. And occasionally, even our own school, I think, takes some shortcuts. And I would like to have that as part of the overall. So it transcends health. It's a multidisciplinary approach, and whether it's a committee or a work group or whatever, but I think we've talked about it for a long time, and now I think it's crystallizing. So I think when we get the report back on the ADA issues, we need to do the same thing on the casino side, bring together. I think this is an effective way to get to the health portion of it, but then we also have education and access is not only physical access as well.
Kathy.
It's one of the greatest things we could do for our people. Kathy.
Yes, it is.
Well, there's a health access committee that could be brought forward to. There's been strategic planning meetings that board members could go to, and I think that's where you gotta say what you're gonna say, because I hear different things here about other ideas. So if what you're saying is you want them to incorporate the disabilities into their strategic planning, you know, so be it. But like what you're talking about, Aaron, isn't that education?
It is.
Yeah. So I mean, health.
Right. It's not
Can't
health.
do that.
Right.
So, but again, there's only so many things that they can do with so many staff that they have, and they got to and you got to figure out what the priorities are. So, in Lanny, your dad was put on a state disabilities committee. Whatever came of that?
Kathy, my dad's right there. Why don't you ask him?
I didn't see him.
I sat and talked to her for an hour this afternoon.
I didn't see him. They see that he's still here. I can't see him here.
Podium.
What's going on with that, Johnny? The state disability committee you got appointed to?
Yeah, we had started one several years ago, but then, like I said, some of the staff fell apart, so the committee was basically just dropped. And that's
been an issue and we haven't resolved anything or got anybody else on it or anything, including myself.
The state one, you represented.
That one there, the governor,
Oh, Granholm?
Granholm got in there, she did, now that whole committee.
Okay.
Don't know where it went after that.
Okay, and then there used to be a disabilities committee within our tribe?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so how long has it been defunct?
Since 2006. I did a report that came to the ad hoc group on that.
I don't know that it was a committee though, I
It
think.
was a committee that was actually, we were just a small member of the tribe. It was more of a Chippewa County Coalition, Disabilities Access Group with the Works Program and several CBO groups, and none of them are doing that, because when I tried to do the report, that's when I called every one of those groups to see if they were still active or doing anything. None of them are.
Yeah, Kathy, it wasn't a formal committee of the tribe. And I think that's probably the problem because we haven't crystallized that and what we want from that, including health, education, ACFS, ADA and access.
Yeah, because it would be nice to know what the outcomes, what we want the outcomes to be.
We have to give form to function. DJ.
I was just going to point out we have those 4 special needs scholarships. I don't know that they get enough attention that they should get. That's probably on our part, not anywhere else. But they're there, and we should encourage people to apply for them because there's 2 for under 18, 2 for over 18.
Yeah.
And the requirements are very liberal towards any form of education for special needs individuals. We're talking about disability.
Yeah, we have a lot of bits and pieces that we just have to pull together, but then we have to identify if that's enough.
No, it's not enough. I'm just saying it's there and we should actually be promoting it. It's definitely not enough. There's no reason somebody can't go right into one of our buildings. I mean, even ITC has a push button, handicap accessible button. It costs $9,000.
Okay.
Can any of the health funds be used for putting that access for the door in right away without having to wait for the report? It's approximately what, $1,200 to put in a push button door release?
So that has to be. So it's easy to do if we have a budget, yes.
It's just that's a relatively low cost thing to put in, and it's not like we really need to do a report and say, do we need this here? Yeah, we need this, and we've known it for a long time. Why can't we just do it?
I think what you're going to find in the report is that we have a lot of needs, and so you're going to have to collectively decide what the priority is. I don't think that's up to us to decide if it's not, especially if it's not budgeted.
Well, but I was thinking about, since there's already health activities in that building that people are trying to get to, that it wouldn't need to wait for that report. That's all that I'm looking at, is that they've got ongoing programs right now.
Well, Big Bear has the elevator, which requires, so you were required to put that in for ADA access, but you don't have the door.
Yeah, but they can't get through the double doors to get to the elevator.
So you went halfway.
Plus, based on the member that wasn't happy with me for a little bit, but she specifically told me some things that are wrong with the concrete, that I don't even know if we're going to catch that, but because there's a buildup in the ice and the way that the concrete's poured at the Big Bear that creates access problems for wheelchairs.
Oh yeah, and the heating of the sidewalk doesn't help it.
Well, they've got the handicap parking on the side where there's no ramp down. And so you have your car on the side when you're parking handicap, and then you have to walk up the sidewalk, and the sidewalk isn't plowed or isn't shoveled or anything, and just the front is, so then you're going around to the front, so we can just get there is a problem with where the parking is at as well.
We have that coming on the government side.
Well, it should be fairly simple. Count the doors you need.
Okay, Kathy, final, and then we're going over here. I would ask that we adjourn before we go.
Going to that session.
Kathy,
You're not going to do anything.
Me?
Motion?
I have one more thing on that.
Kathy?
I'd like to get an update on tax and what's going on with that, because we had very interested board members and different community members that were active on that, and I just kind of like to know what's going on with that.
Yeah, we have so I can ask Jocelyn to do a written report, but where it's at is about 3 weeks ago.
We just got a report on that.
Okay, 3 weeks ago we had a session to move from all of that input that we did to crystallizing a plan. That they did come up with 6. They used mission or objectives, and I asked them not to use mission statement anymore because it sounds like mission schools or boarding schools. So they're going to use drivers or some other language. And so then their contractor came up and met with them, and this is probably about a month and a half ago, and then came up again 2 weeks ago and worked for 2 days. This was all notified to all the TAP members, but worked for 2 days. It was mostly team members to identify specific strategic objectives to fit underneath those plans. So did that?
You can give input back on that draft for by a certain date.
And then also for team members, they're keeping all of this on a shared drive that team members can go in and they can add to, so there will be a rolling suggestions for improvements. Yeah, and I think the next step would be to bring it back to the board.
Yes, to me, presentation.
Okay, I'll ask.
Because aren't they not only like it's through judicial, but it's supposed to be part of IHS too, like they're trying to get those together?
Under SAMHSA for vehicles, yes. And we could tap into those funding.
But we're not, and there was a training and nobody went to it. It was for driver leaders. So, not hard one. I sent her.
Okay.
I have
Yeah, we are. There's a request not to adjourn.
I have one more on my board member concerns.
Okay.
It's about having an open item list. You see it on there?
Yo, I see it.
Okay. That would include items from workshops and proposed resolutions, members' questions, and things. It just gives us a running list of those things that are open.
Like John's tracker?
Yeah, like John's tracker, but with things that come up. Because a lot of the things that we bring forward are from members who want to know, and things like that. And we could have that accessible to people, to see where things are at.
Okay.
It would be, but it's part of a good way to establish communications with people who aren't local, and it provides good transparency.
Yes, that's a good idea. And I think we're working on it.
Well, you know, and your membership liaisons do something like that already.
We do.
So if there's some way, without violating whatever kind of privacy things we need to protect, to provide those kinds of things so that people, you know, it's also good for people to see that things get taken off that list, that things get completed, because they just don't know if they're not actually a part of it. And I think it's a good visible way to show that things do get done.
I agree. All right, yeah, there was a request not to adjourn, so let's just walk over to that room. Otherwise, we have to wait and kick everybody out, and that'll take time.
We gotta come back over here.
I think so.
It is a